What up, everybody? It's your boy Jay, and I am back once again with a brand new episode of Comic Chaser, my weekly comic book countdown where I review every single comic that I picked up this week. And once again, we've got a pretty sizable stack. I think it's about 8 comics. So, it is, as I like to call it, another giant sized episode. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to hear me yap about some comics. As per usual, these videos contain spoilers for all the books I'm about to cover, so if you have not read any of them, definitely, you know, spoiler warning ahead. And if there's any books that are out that you think I might like, that you'd like to recommend, even if they're indie books or Kickstarters that you think I'd, be interested in supporting, definitely leave those in the comments down below as always. And also don't forget to do the usual YouTube things. Leave a like and subscribe as always, and like I said, comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts on these books if you check them out yourself. If you did not pay attention to last week's episode of Comic Chaser or Channel Chasers and you missed out on the podcast, which, by the way, if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. It was a good episode. I believe the one that should be out by the time this video goes up is the Wolf King episode. Really great animated series. But we mentioned there that we are actually changing things up in terms of upload schedule. So we will be uploading the podcast from now on Tuesdays. And then Comic Chaser will be up on Fridays, as you see here, or Friday nights, depending on when I get through my pile. But yeah, as per usual, we're going to order these, start off with the comic that I enjoyed, but, was kind of at the bottom of the pile, and then make our way up to what I thought was my comic of the week, the best book of the stack. But we're going to start off with Powerman Timeless, issue number 3. I believe this is like 3 or 4 or 3. No, this feels like it's 3 or 4. I don't know if it's 4 or 5, but this feels like a penultimate issue with where it left off. So this is art by Bernard Chang, written by Jackson Lansing and Kelly. I don't know if that's Joe Kelly. It might be somebody else. I apologize. I should look into the credits for this. But they always put the credits in weird places for Marvel books, so I have to cut out like 30 seconds of me just flipping through an entire book just to find the credits. But this series is really fun. This is an alternate reality series where like Luke Cage just becomes the most OP character in all of existence. He has his powers, the powers of the Hulk, and the powers of the Sentry, which also includes the Void. And he's been fighting this like all-powerful, like beyond celestial being called I think it's Aeon Knife. And Aeon has a really cool design, like, Bernard Chang, dude, he's one of my favorite artists for Marvel. Really cool design. And basically they're just having a knockdown drag out fight, and Luke actually teams up with our man and Savanor himself, Apocalypse, to take on Aeon. And by the end of the issue, the Void has been uncaged. And so Apocalypse and Luke have to take on the Void, pure darkness incarnate. And that's intense. This is a really fun, over-the-top series. Like, some people are just like, this is kind of boring. This is just, power fantasy. But I kind of like over-the-top power fantasy stuff. I enjoy a trash isekai every now and then. So, like, this is just a fun, turn your brain off, like, action-packed, dope series, man. And the art, again, is phenomenal. So, yeah. If you are a Luke Cage fan, I think this is a fun ride. I still really want to know, like, the building blocks of this world. We get kind of little flashes here and there. Like, we know how he got the powers of the Sentry from Bob Reynolds. But, like, how did he get the Hulk's powers? We did also know how he got the powers of the Iron Fist from Danny. But how did he get the Hulk's powers? Like, Hulk's powers aren't just something you can just pass on. Did he get nuked? Like, I want to know. But yeah, it's also really interesting to see how all these powers kind of interplay with each other too. Again, super cool concept. Uh, Fun miniseries. I don't think this could be an ongoing, but I think a miniseries is just enough for this. All right. Next up, we have another miniseries, Daredevil Unleash Hell. Look at this dope ass cover, dude. So this is written by Erica Schultz with art by Vincenzo Paniti. I apologize if I mispronounced the name. I'm really bad at pronunciation. But if you have not been keeping up with this series, this is Elektra's Daredevil facing up against Muse, the artist serial killer. And if you've been keeping up with Daredevil Born Again, that's been going on Disney Plus recently, you might have been just introduced to Muse. So, spoiler alert for Charles Soule's run of Daredevil, but Muse actually unalived himself at the end of his major story arc, and he ends up in hell. And this is basically him coming back and basically working together with this young artist, kind of taking her on as his apprentice, and like slowly corrupting her. And it's funny. I mentioned when this started how because she gets possessed by the spirit of Muse and is given not only Muse's insight but extra power and ability. It reminded me a lot of Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider, because if you guys don't know, Robbie Reyes is not possessed by Zarathos or one of the spirits of vengeance. He's possessed by his evil serial killer uncle Eli. But this is Johnny Blaze on the cover here. Johnny is the one helping us deal with Muse in this. And so I was like, this feels kind of like Ghost Rider. This is dope. And we get Ghost Rider helping out in this issue. It's really cool. You actually get to see Elektra in hell, and she talks about, yep, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been to hell plenty of times. I've literally been to hell and back, time and time again. And she has to basically fight Hellectra, which is her demon version, a demon spawn side of herself. And the whole time this was happening, because I'm a huge Persona nerd, I was like, oh my god, this is fucking Persona 4. She's literally fighting her shadow. And legit, she's fighting the Hellectra version of herself, and she's like, how Jungian. And I'm like, oh my god, so this is totally on purpose. So that was a lot of fun. Johnny doesn't really I was expecting him to play a bigger part in this. He's kind of her backup as she's fighting Hellectra and the Hell version of Matt and Bullseye and Akka, one of her former hand compatriots. But I'm hoping Johnny gets a more substantial role in the fifth issue, which I believe is the final, because once again, I think this is the penultimate. It feels like it, because at the very end, we see Muse challenge Elektra to a final fight to save young Morgan's soul. And we see here that Morgan is starting to have reservations about just all the shit that she's done in her past, and kind of the sacrifices that she's put up for her art, killing her TA and all these other innocent people. She's really starting to regret it now, and you can see the clear parallels between her and Elektra's past. Elektra definitely regretting all the red in her leisure, to borrow a term from Black Widow from the Avengers movies. So it's her job to help to rescue this young girl. So it's gonna be really interesting. I thought this was really well written. This makes me I really like Erica Schultz's writing style. I hope that she gets a ongoing with Elektra's Daredevil, because she has a really good voice for her, and it makes me actually really interested to check out because I know she writes Laura Kinney Wolverine. I might decide to check it out, because so far this series is pretty good. But I really liked it. This was a really solid mini with a really great villain, and fantastic art. The art in this issue in particular really pops. Like, it's set in hell, but yet the colors are so vibrant. It's really awesome. Like, this book was really, really good. I've enjoyed this series a lot. Elektra's Daredevil was really cool. It's one of those status quo changes that I'm glad has not been reverted. Like, Elektra fits really well as her own Daredevil. She's not just girl Matt. She has her own thing, her own demons, pun intended. So yeah, this series is really good. I definitely recommend it if you are a Daredevil fan. Personally, I have not been a fan of Saladin Ahmed's Daredevil run. No offense to Saladin Ahmed. So this has been helping me get my Daredevil fix. This and Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, which I reviewed last week. Check out that episode if you haven't already. All right, let's go on to the next book, which is New Gods issue number 4, and this is written by Ram V and art by Kagel. And again, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I will say right now, this cover is complete clickbait. Clickbait. Superman does not show up until the last page. Although, that does not mean that this book was bad. This book was really good. I just felt like I got jebaited with this awesome cover. Most of this book is kind of just talking about the New Gods and their experience with death and how they feel about it. And it centers a lot on Light Ray and kind of him kind of musing about the experiences of life and death and his, conversations that he has not only with Metron in this issue, but with the Black Racer, which is like the New Gods equivalent of the Grim Reaper. So that's pretty interesting. And then, of course, you have, like, the back and forth between Orion and Scott Free, because, if you guys remember, if you've been keeping up with the series, in this first arc, Orion tasked Scott with finding this child who is this, like, Star Child, New God, possible super weapon that could either be the destruction of New Genesis or New Genesis' savior. So he's like, you gotta find this kid before I do, because otherwise I'm gonna have to follow High Father's orders and kill this kid, and I really don't want to. And so, Scott's doing his best to talk Orion down, but Orion is not having it. He is just ready to go, and you just really kind of see the regret High Father has, especially because on the side of New Genesis, they're being overtaken by this race of people called the Nectari, who apparently were a civilization that was decimated by Darkseid. But now that Darkseid is gone, because if you've been reading all the All-In stuff and the stuff with the Absolute Universe, Darkseid has merged with the basically essence of the Absolute Universe and has become the driving force of that whole universe and line. So, like, there's no Darkseid, so something has to fill its place because Darkseid is a universal constant. So it looks like the Nectari are stepping up, and yeah, this kid could be what makes a difference. And it looks like, again, New Gods has always kind of had a lot of these, like, Christian allegories, biblical imagery type things. I mean, we have, like, Metron, of course, who is, like, the messenger or the voice of God. So, like, there's a lot of allusions to Judeo-Christian type stuff. And it looks like, with this possible destruction of New Genesis at the hands of the Nectari, that the people of New Genesis will have to have an exodus and find a new home. And it looks like that new home may be Earth, which is why the Justice League are stepping in right here at the very end on the last page. And it is one hell of a cliffhanger, but once I got there, I was like, damn. So this awesome cover was just for one page? Oh, you got me, Ron V, because I want more. Again, really good book. I like this series a lot. It's very much like big scale, modern superhero mythology type stuff. This feels like something that Grant Morrison would write, but it's a lot less convoluted and overcomplicated. than something Grant Morrison would write. No disrespect to Grant. I love their work. They're great. But you can't tell me that Grant Morrison doesn't write some head scratchers sometimes. But this is easy to follow. I'm not a New Gods, I'm not a hardcore New Gods fan. I know them from mostly the animated series appearance and, Final Crisis. Whichever Crisis it was that Grant Morrison wrote. I want to say it was Final Crisis. Uh, where it was very New God centric. But yeah, I'm not really familiar, so this felt very new reader friendly. I've been reading since issue 1. I really like it. The art is great, and it just has a really epic feel to it. I dig it a lot. So yeah, that is New God, issue number 5. So we got one more issue, and I think it's the end of the arc. So I want to see how this arc wraps up, and hopefully we'll get to see kind of what happened and what's the fate of New Genesis now that it looks like their world has been destroyed, or is possibly going to be destroyed. All right, next up we have the next one shot in the Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe one shots. This is the one set in the 70s. It is Godzilla vs. Hulk, issue number 1, written by Jerry Duggan, with art by Giuseppe Camacoli. This art is fantastic. So, I covered last month the Hulk versus Fantastic Four one shot, and that was very much that was close to the top of my pile. I think it was either my second favorite, or it might have no, I don't think it was my book of the week, but it was the spot right before then, or maybe in the top 3. And this is really good. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. This was awesome. And Jerry Duggan is one of my favorite writers as well. Camacoli has done some amazing Spider-Man art, pun intended. This is, again, like I said, set in the 70s. And this was really fun. But, my big issue with this, which is a little bit of an issue I had with the Fantastic Four, but only, more towards the end, is that, a lot of the stuff that they talk about in this issue that has happened off screen that we don't get to see, I'm so interested in, but they kind of just gloss over it. General Ross managed to kill Fing Fang Foom and fucking Surtur? How the fuck did you kill Surtur, Ross? How are you gonna say that and not show me at least a panel or a page? We see Fing Fang Foom's skull, but how did you kill Surtur? Thor couldn't even do that. How? I need to know. And something else that's really cool, one of the main allies / antagonists in this is Dr. Demonicus, who is a bad guy from the 70s Marvel comics. So it's a nice little callback. And also, the writing and the vibe very much feels like an old school Marvel comic. If you've read any old school Marvel comics from the 70s, the narration boxes, that kind of writing style, where they are a lot of times directly addressing the readers. You missed this last time. It feels it also feels like it fits in with an episode of the Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno. So it has a really cool vibe and aesthetic to it. But again, my biggest issue why this wasn't as good in my opinion as the Fantastic Four one is that all the stuff you talk about in this world off screen seems more interesting than what's going on. Now don't get me wrong, cool shit happens in this. Godzilla gets beat up by Dr. Demonicus' latest creation, and it's really fucked up. So he decides Hulk help big dinosaur. So he decides to he bleeds on Godzilla to so that Godzilla can absorb some of his gamma energy. And so Godzilla hulks the fuck out. And he loses his T-Rex arms and gets huge Hulk arms. He's fucking massive. The image of hulked out Godzilla is fucking sick. And that fight sequence is amazing. But like I said, man, the stuff in the world building exposition is so fucking cool, but we don't even get to see it. I'm so mad. Again, it's not a bad thing. it makes me want more of this, but this is only a one shot, bro. Like, ah, he just blue balls me, and it made me upset. I'm not gonna lie, but it was still a very good book. All right, moving on. You want to talk about good books? You want to talk about consistently good books? Let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 8. I want to say this is 8. Yeah, this is 8. Written by Jason Aaron with art by Juan Frigeri. Oh my god, dude, this book. Oh my gosh. Raph has always been my favorite of the Ninja Turtles. I know, basic bitch answer. Everybody either likes Raph, Leo, or Mikey. But man, do I feel bad for anybody who is a Donnie fan, because our boy Donnie is going through it. Homie has been tortured. His mind is broken. He's like seeing and slash hearing the spirit of their dead father in this dead rat corpse. But then, like, towards the end, when Donnie does the unthinkable and fucking turns himself in to the bad guys because Leo snapped on him, Leo actually begins to hear the voice of Master Splinter, and he gets to hear Splinter's weeping from the rat. So, like, is Splinter's ghost really out there interacting with them? It's not the craziest thing in the world. I mean, weirder shit has happened in these comics, man. The IDW series has taken it to some very weird places before, so like, not surprised. But I am very interested to see where this goes, and maybe this will finally be the uniting force to get these motherfuckers to stop fighting with each other. Oh my gosh. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the drama and the tension, but I'm just like, you guys, more important stuff is happening. Do you not see what's going on with Donnie? Holy shit. But it does put them in a really interesting position. We do get a little glimpse, just a tiny glimpse of whatever the fuck Karai is doing. And I like that when Bebop and Rocksteady peep in, they're like, you know what? Nah, never mind. This is way above our pay grade. This is not our fucking business. My name's Paul, and that's between y'all, and my name's Bennett, and I ain't in it. That is what Bebop and Rocksteady are saying, so it's like, let me just adjust the camera. There we go. It's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna back off for now, dog. We'll find out later. And I'm just like, you know what? Fair. And boy, let me tell you, this guy, D.A. Hale, he is the most despicable, hateable motherfucker I have ever read in a Ninja Turtles comic. I cannot wait to see him die. That is the mark of a good villain. There is no type of sympathy whatsoever. He is just straight up evil. And I am here for it. So yeah, Ninja Turtles, consistently good. If you are a Turtles fan and you have not, read any of Aaron's run, jump in on this. This shit is amazing. I love it personally as a Turtles fan, so definitely check it out. Worth your time for sure. It's definitely close to the top of my pile. Moving on to another consistently fantastic, magical even book. We have Zatanna issue number 3. This is 3, right? No, it's 3. I was looking for the number on the cover. Yeah, Zatanna issue number 3. I always get the variants because the variants always kill it. Not that I don't like Jamal Campbell's art, because of course I like Jamal Campbell's art. This shit is absolutely beautiful. This is one of the prettiest books that I read every month. And so this continues the story with the Lady White and Zatanna having to deal with the death of one of her assistants at the hands of Lady White, and being trapped in this like weird, bizarro world created by her. And basically, she puts Okay, I'm about to speak weeb to all of you because like I don't know a better metaphor, but like if you've ever seen Naruto, she's essentially put Clayface into Infinite Tsukuyomi, where it's basically like, or to use a comic book metaphor and example, it's kind of like a magic equivalent of like a Black Mercy dream for Clayface, and Zatanna is also somehow here, and basically Clayface is a successful actor. You know, he has, you know, he's not disformed. He's not deformed or disfigured. He has a wife and child. He's super successful. Blah 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 blah. There's also a version of Bruce Wayne in here that's like flirting with Zatanna and shit. And I'm not gonna lie, I've always liked Zatanna and Batman as a possible relationship. But you know, maybe that's just me. We also see that the sword that the Lady White attacked Zatanna with very early on, I believe in the first issue, is starting to affect her, and she says that like it's beginning to steal all her words. So every spell she casts causes more and more pain towards her. We also see that Blue Devil was captured at the end of last issue, and so now the Lady White's companion is trying to torture Blue Devil. So we're gonna have to deal with all of that, and just shit gets crazy, dude. This series like is so big in scale, and it's beautiful. The action is really well done. I love this kind of like almost like fairy tale narrative device that like Campbell has going. It has me engaged and enthralled all throughout. If you are a Zatanna fan, if you like the DC Mystic side or DC Dark, as a lot of people like to call it, because this feels very much like a Justice League Dark type adventure, especially because we have supporting characters like Blue Devil and Bobo Detective Chimp in this as well in the background. If you like any of that stuff, you will love this. Honestly, the only reason this isn't at the top of my stack is because the other two books just blew my fucking mind. So let's move on and get to those books, shall we? First up, Ultimate Wolverine, issue number 4. This is written by Chris Condon with art by Alessandra Cappuccio. Oh my god, this. So I've been very like lukewarm on Wolverine. Wolverine has been like a beautiful book with a lot of great like action set pieces and cool vibes and interesting Ultimate Universe takes on classic X-Men that we don't get to see in actual Ultimate X-Men. But this was some next level shit right here. If you have ever read the original Weapon X miniseries, or I think it was like was it just like a Marvel 2-in-1 type thing? I don't remember. But if you've ever read Weapon X by Barry Windsor Smith, that came out in the 90s, this is very much Condon and Cappuccio channeling that kind of vibe, because it's very surreal. We don't actually get to see the lab for quite a bit. Most of this is kind of being played within Logan's mind as kind of like this like elaborate dream sequence and like kind of a big metaphor. Logan being a wolf attacked by a bear, and it's this whole thing, and you get to like see all throughout like the dialogue of the different scientists and people working in the lab trying to calm him down and being freaked out by his different movements and all the shit like that. Oh my god. But the reveal at the end of the issue is what made this shoot to near the top of my pile in terms of like books of the week. Dude, the last page reveal, I'm gonna like give you guys a second to pause it, because this is a huge reveal. If you don't want to know, skip this and go to the skip this by a few seconds and then go to the next book that I cover, which you'll see in a second. But this is your last chance before I spoil it fully. All right, here it is. The last page reveal is that the way they handle his kind of brainwashing and brain reset is through telepathy, which we already knew. But the source of that telepathy is Jean fucking Grey. They have the Phoenix in the basement of their lab. And that is how they've been fucking with Logan's brain. What? Jean Grey? So Phoenix exists in the Ultimate Universe. This is a game changer. The Ultimates need to find the Phoenix. Are you kidding? If the Ultimates find the Phoenix, it's game over. It's game over. The Maker ain't gonna be able to do shit. Oh my god, dude. Holy. That shit blew my mind. I am locked in on Wolverine issue number 4. I'm glad I stuck with this shit, man. I had a feeling. I am locked in now. This shit has me hooked. Alright, but what could possibly be at the top of my pile this week in terms of books? For me, it is Absolute Flash issue number 2. Written by Jeff Lemire, art by Nick Robles. Yeah, so good that I didn't even have to struggle to look at the credits because I had to know. And like, shout out to whoever did the lettering for this too, because the lettering really makes a huge impact in this book as well. So this continues where the last issue left off, where like Wally is being chased by the Rogues, which is kind of this like Black Ops team that works for Wally's dad, or at least the base where Wally and his dad lived. And like they're trying to, subdue him and bring him home and shit like that. Wally's freaking out. He's just constantly talking about like, I need to move, I can't stop moving, stuff like that. And I also love how even the like narration and the text boxes are cluttered together. It really kind of helps you get the sense of like claustrophobicness and like kind of like sporadic nature of his thoughts, like put together in both a kind of like a reading sense and a visual sense as well. So that was a really nice touch. And something really interesting is happening here. So this book already has openly played with time travel, like showing kind of Wally being able to peer into the future and see different things, and it happens again where he gets to see different timelines. One where he's in like a traditional Flash outfit, and one where he's like this crazy monster possibly. So it's like, there are two possible roads for Wally to go down. So again, very interesting. But another thing is like he ends up getting pulled into this like other dimension. I want to say it might be the Speed Force, but it looks like something else. It looks like a different like time period, because he gets pulled in and he actually gets to interact with Barry and his dad. So we see that Barry's not dead, and his and his dad is just trying to get him back. But like on the other side of it, like Barry at first, Wally, he only sees like these kind of monsters, but then when he like snaps back into the present, he's like, wait, was that my dad? Barry? What the fuck? It's like, he's like experiencing multiple timelines and multiple moments all at once. He's moving so fast. It's such a really interesting and honestly terrifying concept. And I'm just here for it. I'm really gripped. And like I said, when I reviewed the first issue, this kind of feels like a Hulk story in a way, because this is like a dude on the run, constantly being chased down by the military, not really understanding his powers, being afraid of his powers. Really fucking cool. And we get to see at the very end the reveal of Absolute Grodd, who is like baby Caesar Grodd. And I'm here for it, because we did see in the little preview of what to come in the different possible future timelines that Wally actually befriends and ends up teaming up with Grodd. So I'm really interested to see how that goes. And again, I love all the designs for our you know, alternate universe rogues. One of them is called Jesse. So is that Jesse Quick? They didn't seem to have speed powers. So, like, is there another rogue that has a name Jesse? Is that Trickster maybe? Cause I, like with the helmet, like I kind of look pumpkinish. Like, is there another rogue named Jesse? Because I know Jesse Quick isn't a member of the Rogue. I gotta look up the Rogues and see, like, what their first names are. Like, I know, of course, Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, and of course Lisa Snart, Gold Glider, who we get to see. We find out that Mick Rory got apparently. So Heatwave isn't around. Boomerang is there, and a few others. But yeah, again, really, this is really hitting for me. I am really digging Absolute Flash. It's definitely up there in terms of the Absolute books. As of right now, and I'll keep saying this every time, and this will change as time goes on and we get more Absolute titles. But right now, Wonder Woman is my favorite Absolute book, followed by Batman. Then I'd put Flash. Then I'd put Green Lantern. Then I'd put Superman, and then I'd put Martian Manhunter at the bottom, but that doesn't mean Martian Manhunter is bad. It's just it hasn't really like given me its hook within that first issue. It's a very pretty looking book. It's a very interesting concept, but it hasn't got like had that moment where it's really sunk in for me and blown my mind. And like I said before with Ultimate Wolverine, that did not happen with me until this issue that came out this month, which was issue number 4. So, Martian Manhunter will at least be a 12-issue series from what we know. So, who knows? By the end of the series, it might, rise to the top or, get closer to the top. But as for now, Flash is definitely up there for me in terms of absolute books. I really like Jeff Lemire's writing. The art by Robles is fantastic. Great book, and definitely, in my opinion, well deserving of my book of the week. Boy, was this a long episode. I hope you guys had your snacks, but thank you for sticking with me if you did manage to stick to the end. If you didn't, I totally understand. Nobody has time for like a 40-minute video, but I do appreciate everybody that stuck around. And like I said, if you haven't already, be sure to do all the YouTube things. Leave this video a like. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new here so you don't miss any brand new episodes of Comic Chaser to see what other books I cover every week. And brand new episodes of the Channel Chasers podcast where we cover various TV shows and movies that catch our eye. A lot of them, of course, will be comic book related because, that's just our bread and butter over here. So definitely check all that out. But until next time, this has been Jay. And I hope you have enjoyed this quick shot of pop culture because I provided you with a nice little comic chaser. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace.